All right, might look like I'm flying the bird, but I promise you I'm not. If you take a closer look, you can see my fingers kind of weirdly shaped and flat. So I'm going to be telling the story of how that happened and how my rock star of a mom helped me get through it. Yeah, so to start off, rewind to summer of 2009. My mom and I get invited to a river rafting trip at the Carson River with a group of 9 other people. We start off at the very top. You know, we have our cars parked, pack everything onto the raft, get ourselves onto the raft. We set off down the river. 4 hours go by. Everybody's getting kind of tired, so we look for a place to set up camp. And we did just that. We found a nice little cove, unpack everything, and while my mom's setting up our tent and everything else, I'm running around. I got a lot of energy. I'm 9 years old. 2009 years old. I'm 9 years old, and yeah, so 10 minutes later, I come running down the mountain towards camp, holding my finger, screaming, yelling, "Son of a bitch, ah!" And that gets everybody's attention really quickly. And, you know, they can see that my bone is literally shattered and there's little fragments coming off of it. And basically what had happened was I was trying to catch these lizards, right? And this one lizard runs under these rocks. There's 2 rocks. One's leaned up against the other. And I foolishly had asked another girl that I was with to lift the rock up so I could reach in and grab the lizard. But the lizard bolts and she kind of watches it go and forgets that she's holding the rock, right? So the rock falls, smashes my finger in between it. I rip it out, and then I'm down at the campsite screaming. And everybody's trying to help me out. You know, they dress it as best they could. We had limited medical supplies. You know, we just had some like Advil and stuff, so no pain medicine or anything. And I was just kind of beat, and I went into shock, so I just passed out. And then my mom had to kind of spring into action and decide what was best for us. She had like 8 other adults telling her what they thought the best idea was. You know, we had one group tell us that we should leave right now and, you know, we'll get there by 10 o'clock, we'll be out of there at night, and it would be cold by then. So we were like, no, we're not doing that right now. Like, he's fine, he's not gonna die, although I was pretty injured. So we she decides to wait till the next morning. And next morning comes, 2 other women, my mom and I, set up on this little raft where we go down the rest of the river, or not the rest, but like about halfway through, and we stop. And we run into this group of women who are super experienced at river rafting. They had done this many years in a row. And my mom kind of explains to them what's going on, and we really needed their help. And they agreed to take us down the rest of the river so that the other people that were with us could go back to camp and enjoy the rest of their trip. This was only the first day, so we didn't want to ruin it for everybody. But yeah, so they agreed to take us down the rest of the river, get all the way down, you know, 4 hours later. And there's this car packing up. My mom notices them, and she approaches them, explains to them what's going on, and asks them if they could take us to the nearest hospital. And they're like, okay, sure, but you can't bring anything, our car's packed. So we're like, okay, fine, that's fine. And yeah, so they take us to the nearest hospital. And we get there, and my mom doesn't have anything, right? She doesn't have her phone, she doesn't have her wallet, no insurance card, nothing. She can't pay. So after like 45 minutes of convincing them, they finally decide to treat me and help me out. And yeah, you know, she was an absolute rock star. I mean, it was just as traumatic for her as it was for me. So I'm really grateful for her. That's just one example of many where she's just been a trooper and helped me out a bunch. She's always got my back. She sacrifices a lot for me constantly. And yeah, if you're curious about the aftermath, we end up getting home back to Santa Cruz, get in touch with a local plastic surgeon and get my finger all reconstructed. And yeah, ended up being fine. I can feel it, I can move it kind of. It works just fine. There's no pain. yeah, so to kind of wrap things up, I'm just super grateful for her. You know, she would do anything for me, I would do anything for her. And yeah, that's what I'm grateful for.